What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to find complementary and supplementary radian angles. Okay, so if you don't remember, complementary angles are just two positive angles that add up to 90 degrees, or in this case, pi over 2 radians, right? Those two are the exact same thing. And on the other hand, two supplementary angles are two positive angles that add up to 180 degrees, or again, in this case, when we're talking about radians, pi radians, all right? So let's start with this first example, pi over 3, and then we're just gonna do a couple more, all right? So let's start by finding, first of all, the complementary angle of pi over 3, all right? So if we wanna find the complementary angle, we're simply gonna start with our given radian, and we're gonna add that to some angle that we don't know, all right? So we're going to say that this radian plus this radian is equal to 90 degrees, or again, in our case, pi over 2, right? Pi over 2. All right, now to solve for x, we can simply get rid of this pi over 3 by subtracting pi over 3 from both sides, like that. So on this side, those cancel out. And we're simply left with x is equal to pi over 2 minus pi over 3. All right, so in order to add or subtract fractions, you need to have the same denominators. So one way that we can do this is by kind of cross-multiplying the denominators, all right? So what I'm gonna do here is take this 2 and multiply it on the top and the bottom like that, all right? Now for this one, I'm gonna take this 3 and I'm gonna multiply it again on the top and the bottom like that, all right? So now let's simplify what we have here. So first of all, here we have x is equal to, and on top 3 times pi, that's just 3 pi. 3 times 2 on the bottom is 6. And then we're subtracting. And then on top, pi times 2 is 2 pi. And on the bottom, 3 times 2 is 6. All right, so now that we have the same denominators, now we can subtract these, right? So on top, 3 pi minus 2 pi is equal to 1 pi, or we could just write that as pi. And we have 6's on the bottom, so that'll stay as 6, all right? So then this is the complementary angle, this is pi over 6, with pi over 3. All right, not too bad, right? So now let's find the supplementary angle, all right? So this time we're gonna say that this radian that we're given, we're gonna add that to some other radian, and when we add these two angles up together, they should add up to 180 degrees. Or again, in this case, it's gonna be pi, all right? So we're gonna set this one equal to pi, all right? So again, solving for x, we can get rid of this pi over 3 first by subtracting pi over 3, right? Subtract pi over 3, there we go. Then those cancel out, so we're left with x is equal to pi minus pi over 3. All right, so again, we need to get the same denominators. So first of all, we can write pi as a fraction. We can simply put it over 1. And then here, to match up the denominators, we can kind of cross multiply again. So this 3, I'm going to multiply on the top and the bottom. And then this 1, I can multiply on the top and the bottom, but multiplying by 1 is not going to change anything, right? So we don't really have to do anything there. And also you can see on the bottom over here, we're gonna have 3 times 1, which already matches this 3, right? So we're gonna have 3's there. So there's, again, no need to change this fraction, right? So let's simplify this now. So here we're gonna get that x is equal to, on top, 3 pi, and on the bottom, 3 times 1 is 3. And then we're gonna subtract pi over 3. So 3 pi minus 1 pi is equal to 2 pi. And again, that's over 3, all right? So there's our answer right there. So 2 pi over 3 is supplementary with pi over 3. All right, now let's go to this next one. And this is gonna illustrate why we need to make sure our angles, all our angles are positive, all right? So here we have 3 pi over 4. So again, if we wanna find the complementary angle, here we can say 3 pi over 4 plus some angle, we don't know what it is yet, right? So we'll call it x, they have to be equal to pi over 2. All right, so to solve for x, again, we can get rid of this 3 pi over 4 by subtracting 3 pi over 4 from both sides. So on this side, they cancel out. And we're left with x is equal to pi over 2 minus 3 pi over 4. So again, you can see the denominators don't match. So one thing we can do here is just multiply this fraction by 2 over 2, right? Because then you'll see we'll have a 4 over here to match the 4 that we already have over here. All right, so then here we're going to get that x is equal to, on top, 2 pi over 4. minus 3 pi over 4. And 2 pi minus 3 pi is equal to negative 1 pi. Or we could write that as simply negative pi, and then our denominator is 4. All right, so as you can see, we got a negative answer, which, like we said, is no good. All right, so since we got a negative answer, that means this radian that we were given, 3 pi over 4, doesn't have a complementary angle. And the reason for that is because it's bigger than 90 degrees, or in other words, pi over 2. Okay, so if we converted 3 pi over 4 into degrees, you would see that it's equal to 135 degrees, which is obviously bigger than 90 degrees. All right, now I'm going to skip finding the supplementary angle just because it's going to be the same process as we went through with pi over 3, but I do want to go over this last one, 1 radian. All right, this is not 1 pi radian, this is simply 1 radian. All right, so how would we find the complementary angle of 1 radian? Well, we would still continue the same process. So here we're going to say 1 plus some unknown angle, we'll call it x, is equal to, again, pi over 2, right? Pi over 2. So here, solving for x, we can subtract 1, right? Subtract 1. Those cancel out. So here we get x is equal to pi over 2 minus 1. Okay, this is already pretty simplified, but we can simplify it a little bit more. We could say x is equal to pi over 2 minus, and then to convert this into a fraction, an equivalent fraction, we can say that it's equal to 2 over 2. Right, because then it'll have the same denominator. So here we're just going to say 2 over 2, all right? So then here on top, pi minus 2, well, we can't combine that, so we'll just write it as pi minus 2. And then on the bottom, we have 2's, so we'll keep the 2, all right? So then that's basically as simplified as we can write it. So pi minus 2 over 2 is the complementary angle to 1 radian. There we go. Okay, and then lastly, if we wanted to find the supplementary angle, it'd still be the same process. We'll say 1 plus x is equal to pi this time, all right? So here, solving for x, we can subtract 1, right? Subtract 1, these cancel out. So here we get that x is equal to pi minus 1. Can't combine that anymore, so this would be our final answer. So if you found the video helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below.